Over the past couple of years, there have been two new gens that have stood out amongst the rest, and funnily enough, they're both ending around the exact same time. My Hero ended not too long ago, and we're only around 3 weeks away from the final JJK chapter, so I think it's the perfect time to put Deku against the main fighters of Shinjuku and see if he was solo. But before I get into the video, it would be greatly appreciated if you guys could like and subscribe, since I want to do more content like this, so obviously, you show support, I'm going to obviously push it out there. But that's enough of the rambling. Let's see if Deku can really solo the whole of Shinjuku. I'm going to scale Deku and then obviously allow him to run the Gauntlet. And by the way, the Deku I'm going to be using will have all of his quirks, so it'll be just before Shigaraki took Danger Sense from him, so yeah. And for all the My Hero scalers, he may seem a little bit lowballed in this video, but I don't think he'll need all of his feats for this video. I'm going to be going over the more concrete and well-known feats that he does have. Out of the main stats, I'm going to start with AP first, and Deku has a range of AP feats, but for this one I'm going to use two different metrics: the more consistent scaling that he does have, and then a lowballed one so you get to see where his base stats can be at. Out of the two metrics, I'm going to lowball him first, and it's very easy to get him to around mountain to even island level. For starters, we have characters like a weakened All For One being able to destroy a city and push All Might through many city buildings. At this time, they were like pathetically weak, like they were nowhere near to where they were in their prime. We have characters like Showdown who's able to freeze a city over and then also change the country's weather. Bakugo was able to set off a massive explosion like this, and All Might with weights on to hold him back was able to destroy a city like this, and on top of that, All Might literally changed the weather while being 60 times weaker than he was in his prime, so you can only imagine what prime All Might's output. It's safe to say that MHA has some crazy feats, and the common occurrence here is that they're able to just destroy cities casually. With All Might changing the weather, it's pretty easily scaled to mountain level or something higher, so for low ball, I can easily put Deku at mountain level. Now the reason I say this is a low ball, and I'd even go to say it's an atrocious low ball, is because Shigaraki with his pure physical strength was equal to prime All Might, so that means that the Deku that he was fighting was basically way stronger than prime All Might at that point, because Shigaraki does have strength enhancing quirks and he does have other quirks that obviously boost his strength, so the Deku that he was fighting was way stronger than this. I could think this is exaggerated, but obviously All Might was literally saying he's gotten weaker since his prime all the time, and All For One even backs this up, so I think this is kind of concrete. Now next up, we're actually going to focus on his more consistent feats and where he actually should be at. In the movie Heroes Rising, Deku and Bakugo came together to punch away an island-sized storm, and I know you're thinking, oh, it's Heroes Rising, it's not canon. It is canon. All My Hero movies are canon. The reason I'm able to use this feat is because Deku in canon literally punches away an island-sized storm. And you could even up it to the point where it could be worldwide, since the storm was affecting the whole world, meaning that this is probably country plus. But if you want to lowball it, at the bare minimum, it is a country level feat. Now the reason I say this is a low ball is because obviously he's not punching the storm directly, he's punching something else, but then obviously the pressure coming off of his punch is obviously affecting the weather above, and then it just disperses. What makes it even more concrete is the fact that Todoroki and Darby was the ones to create this, and we all know that both Shigaraki and Deku are far superior to them, so yeah, it's not really a debate here. There is a possibility he changed the weather in America, but we obviously know it's up in the air right now, so I'm not gonna sit here and say yeah, he did do that, but it's very up in the air. It could be possible, but I'm not gonna say it's possible here. Either way, it's clear that he has weather altering AP, which makes him a very strong character. With his low ball feats, he's able to at least get to mountain level or island level, and with his most consistent feats, he's able to get to country to continental. And I know that there is a feat out there with Stars and Stripes where she's basically multi-continental, but I don't know how to scale it right now, so I'm not going to sit here and say yeah, he's multi-continental and then not give you the actual calc. So this video, I'm going to put him at country levels of AP, since I don't think he needs anything more than that. I know the My Hero scalers in here are probably like screaming and stuff, but like chill, don't worry. Next up is speed, and his speed is very contentious, but I think in my opinion it's very easy to calc. You see that in the war, Gran Torino was able to blitz air bullet radio waves, which is extremely crazy. But this feat is bad since the Zuku just straight up reacts to it point blank and is able to obviously wrap the black whip around him, making this massively faster than light for his reaction speed. And for movement speed, I can just take what Gran Torino did, since we all know that Izuku is far faster than Gran Torino. This makes him massively faster than light in both departments, and I know I could go higher than this, but I don't really think there's a reason for me to, and you're gonna see later why I keep saying this. If you want to actually entertain the argument and obviously go into it properly, then we know that Aoyama does have light lasers, and it's stated to be light on multiple occasions, so you could obviously use that and then say yeah, Izuku is this time is faster than light, but I'm just gonna say vaguely that he's massively faster than light, since obviously there are several things in the series that puts him there. Next up is durability, and whatever his AP is, I'm just gonna say that he can take it, especially since that's how one for all kind of works. He can just take out what he dishes, so this will give him country levels of durability, since that's what I'm gonna go for in this video. To follow up on his durability, we obviously have his endurance, and it is literally his gimmick to break his bones over and over again. Like, come on. To emphasize his amazing endurance, in the final war he lost his arms and was still willing to fight, so yeah, I don't think you have to put a lot of punishment on Deku to obviously take him down for good. To add to his amazing stats, we have his battle IQ, and it's literally one of his gimmicks to really analyze and get to know quirks really well, and just powers in general really well. And he's also able to create plans on the fly really quickly, so yeah, his battle IQ is up there. Finally, it's Deku's hacks, and he has a multitude of quirks that we need to go into. Aside from his super strength, one of his most iconic quirks is called Black Whip. Black Whip is great for many things, like supporting his body while he punches someone. He's able to restrain people and even hold them in place, or use them like this. This basically allows him to do what I was saying before, but all at once, coating his body but also using the tendrils to hold people in place, or just use many different objects to throw at people. Yeah, he's got a lot of versatility with this quirk. Along with him being able to do all those other things, he's able to swing from places like Spider-Man and his webs. So yeah, overall it's a really good quirk. Next up is Danger Sense, and in this battle especially, Danger Sense is going to be great since it's just his spidey sense. If you have any ill will towards him, he's going to notice it and obviously avoid your attack or counter your attack. Added on to his already broken set of quirks, we have Farjin. Farjin is very strong when combined with basically every other quirk. It stores up kinetic energy, and when released it can enhance things, but it's mainly used for Deku smashes or his fly, which is what we need to get into next. Along with being able to mimic Spider-Man, Deku can also mirror Superman with Float. Float, it basically allows him to fly and give him extra mobility. Onto his most busted ability, we have Gear Shift, and Gear Shift can really be a game changer in this battle. By bypassing the laws of inertia, Deku basically keeps the exact same amount of power throughout the duration of his punch, meaning the laws of physics don't really apply to him. That means that his punch doesn't slow down no matter what, since he's bending the laws of physics to what he wants it to be. A little later I'm going to explain why this character ability is going to be major for him and could even get him a battle that he may not be able to win otherwise, but for now I'm going to go over the last quirk, and that is Smokescreen. Oh yeah, there is quirk bestowal, but I don't think he's going to be bestowing a quirk to anybody here. So finally we have Smokescreen, and although it's the weakest out of all of them, unless the person has X-ray vision or has some sort of like ability to see the future or something like that, it's going to be very useful here. I think in his Gauntlet setting, he's going to be using it a lot, since there's going to be multiple people he's fighting and they can't really sense him, so being able to obscure their vision and obviously jump them whenever he can is very useful. With Smokescreen out of the way, that means we've covered all of his abilities and stats, meaning we are able to jump into Shinjuku Incident and really find out if he can solo it. First of all, we need to go over the rules and go over who he's going to be fighting against. Now, since only one person in the whole thing ran a gauntlet, I'm going to put him in Sukuna's shoes and then let him run it. Obviously, he will fight Sukuna, but it will be at the end with Rame. For the rules, everybody here is going to be at their strongest, meaning Itadori will have his domain and several other characters will have certain abilities that they obviously gain throughout the fly or something like that. Spoiler alert, no, we will not be seeing Yuta in Gojo's body, because I believe Yuta in Gojo's body was weaker than the actual Yuta himself, since he doesn't even know what he's doing. And yes, everybody here will be bloodlusted, which means even Izuku will be going for their kill. Alright, now that the rules are set and we know where he's going to be, let's get into the fights. First up is the most contentious battle, and it's Gojo versus Deku. Now remember when I called out Gear Shift earlier and said they'll be pivotal later? Well, this is where I may get jumped in the comment section, I may get dragged wherever people want to take this, but hear me out. Gojo's infinity abides by the laws of physics. What he does is he divides the space between him and the other person and keeps dividing it until basically it looks like you can't touch him. And unless I'm understanding Deku's Gear Shift wrong, it shouldn't slow down, since obviously all Infinity's doing is just dividing the space, but Deku's not abiding by it, meaning he's just going to continuously still punch since he's not slowing down for the divided space. But I could be interpreting that wrong, and that would then lead it to being a stalemate. Now obviously Gojo does have ways to defeat him. No Hollow Purple isn't beating him. No, that's like a city level feat. But what could beat him is Unlimited Void, and that's if it hit him. The reason I say this is because obviously it's not an instant thing. Sukuna was able to react to this on multiple occasions, and to top that off, we obviously know that JJK in terms of speed is like what, Mark 3, the most like hyped up feat that I've seen from it is Mark 3. You do have stuff like News Lightning. If you want to use that, they could be like lightning level, but like I don't think lightning levels of speed is gonna touch Deku at this point. Like he's massively faster than light. Let's be real here. So as I said before, we ended a stalemate, but we're not here for stalemates, alright? So let's just say that Deku beats him and goes about his way, right? And obviously with Sukuna beating Gojo, Kashimo jumped out. I know you're gonna ask well about Hakari, but obviously Hakari was only there for Urame. Hakari will come in later, don't worry. Next up is Kashimo, and I'm sorry to tell you all you Kashimo lovers, but he's getting slammed worse here than he did in the main series. Seeing as he's bloodlust and Goen all out, he's obviously gonna activate his technique, but he's still gonna get slammed on his head. Like, it doesn't change anything at all. After sending the farmer back to his farm, Yuji and Higurama appear and they activate the domain, and I'm sorry to tell you guys, but Izuku is the most innocent person they could have ever tried. I mean, the child would be ineffective and he'd get out of the domain and Yuji would pop his. I'm gonna allow Yuji to get his off, but we don't know what it would do since we don't know anything about it. And either it would make Deku appear outside of it like any other person with no cursed energy, or obviously he'll be inside of it. And just to give you a warning, Deku is going to smash the living hell out of that domain if he knows what it is. But if he doesn't know what it is, he's gonna smash the living hell out of Yuji and Higuruma, and they're gone. They're done. Either way, with the force of one smash, that domain is getting shattered in two. So since Deku has cleared everything so quickly, and there's obviously downtime between now and when Yuta arrives, I'm going to throw in Hakari here and let Hakari fight. I know you're immediately thinking, oh, Hakari should be able to survive this the longest. He didn't have his jackpot up and everything. I'm sorry. If Izuku blows his head off or blows out the top part of his body off and he can't obviously use his brain, he's done. He's finito. I mean, you could even throw in Maki here along with him, and I'm sorry, 5% Deku would give Maki the fight of her life. Considering 5% Deku was out here dodging bullets point blank and I was out here putting out feats that are like town level and stuff, him and Maki would be a really good fight. But this is end of series Deku we're talking about. There is no way in hell she's putting up a fight against him, meaning she's getting obliterated too. Now this is around the time where Yuta gets back, and I'm just going to throw everybody aside from Urame and Sukuna around. Obviously people like Kiara and obviously the rest won't be there, but Kusakabe, Lura, Miguel, Yuta, they'll all be there. Now this would be the best time to activate smoke screen and punch whoever's closest to him, and whoever gets punched is obviously dying on the spot. But on top of that, the domain will probably shatter due to the force of the punch. And then when I'm out of the domain, it's quick eats for Izuku. He's not taking long dispatching of all of them. Meaning it now leads us on to our last batch of fights, which is Sukuna and Urame versus Deku. Oh yeah, by the way, during this, Todo, Meimei and Nobara probably does perish during this time. So yeah, as I said, there's only Urame and Sukuna to fight. Now aside from Gojo, I believe that these two have the best chance, since they could obviously freeze him in place, and then Sukuna does have his wall cut and slash, meaning that he can kill Deku. But if we're really being realistic here, is he really gonna land it? If we're being real here, Todoroki's ice is probably more potent and better than Urame's, and Deku could obviously smash that to bits. Meaning, I don't know if they're going to be able to hold him in place for him to get that wall cut and slash off, and that does have a lot of ill intent, meaning Deku's obviously going to jump out of the way. He can't see it, but he's going to sense something, he's going to jump out of the way. Meaning Izuku probably uses Black Whip, smashes them together and starts slamming them around like the Hulk, and then wins. Meaning Izuku, yes, he can solo the Shinjuku Incident pretty easily. Well, aside from Gojo and Sukuna, due to their obviously busted hacks, I don't think there's anybody in the verse that's going to be able to take him down. And their win cons are by him standing still, which he's not going to do. I think the main fault here is the speed of the verse. If the speed was massively faster than light and was able to keep up with Izuku, they'll be able to land their domains or just like really busted abilities that they have. Then that would allow them to win the fight, but obviously they can't do that, so you know, they lose. But yeah, this is the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed it, you know what to do, like and subscribe. And yeah, I've loved all you guys for your support you've been showing me. If you want me to cover more crosswords battles, I will do it. You can comment down below what you want to see next. I really want to put the Monster Trio against the 4th Great Ninja War, since that would be a very interesting video to cover. And yeah, since I can actually like scale Naruto and One Piece like properly, so I'll be able to like give you guys a good video on that. But yeah, that's about it. Comment down below if you disagree with any of my takes, and we can like chop it up and you can try to find me in the comments. So yeah, anyway, that'll be the end of the video. So I'll see you guys next time.